Cannon Street, Kalgoorlie, is like the main street of most other small towns in Australia, wide and leisurely. The footpaths shaded by verandas and trees. People yarning. Local identities like Tommy Martin, who came here over 50 years ago. He made a fortune in the goldfields. And Mrs. Elliot, who came as a girl to teach school. She married a mine manager. And the mayor, who was a blacksmith on the goldfields. And best known of all, Paddy Hannon, who sits on the corner of the street that is named after him. The man who found the first gold and pitched the first tent where Kalgoorlie now stands. The great gold rush of the 90s brought tens of thousands of men to the west to gamble against thirst and blistering heat and isolation for specks of gold that might lead them to dazzling riches. Some had no luck. A few struck it rich. But Paddy Hannon found the Golden Mile that has produced 27 million ounces of gold in 50 years. Gold is the lifeblood of Kalgoorlie, the Golden Mile its heart, the mines and mullock dumps its landmarks. Each day, the men of Kalgoorlie go to the mines. 4,000 men from Kalgoorlie and the twin city of Boulder. 4,000 men on the Golden Mile. Miners, engineers, electricians, draftsmen, geologists, chemists, carpenters. Men of all skills and trades working on the mile. Scratch the surface of the earth with picks and shovels. The men of the Golden Mile work under the earth in a maze of drives and tunnels and shafts. 1,000 feet below the surface. 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 feet under the ground, ripping out millions of tons of ore with machines and high explosives. Golden Mile mine 1.5 million tons of ore each year, ore that yields 400,000 ounces of fine gold, nearly half the production of the continent, where Paddy Hannon and his mates scratched with picks and shovels 50 years ago. And over the face of the Golden Mile, great man-made craters gash the earth, the open-cut mines of Kalgoorlie, so big that only the drift of dust and the sound of drills shows where the men are working. Pigeons nest here out of the wind. Day and night, the great machines of the Golden Mile swallow a never-ending stream of rock and stone and dirt from the mines. Day and night, carrying, crushing, pounding, stone into dust and dust into mud. The might of great machines and the skill of men to separate mineral from stone. Gold from dross, gold to be molten in the furnace, to be poured into ingots. Gold from the mines of Kalgoorlie. Such is the harvest of the Golden Mile. 400,000 ounces of gold each year for 50 years, and the end not in sight. And out in the desert, beyond the mines, the residue is poured out on the ground to dry in the sun. Grey mud, to be shoveled and stacked in great sterile dumps. For each bar of gold, 2,000 tons of mullock, millions of tons in each dump. The monuments of the Golden Mile. The days of the first gold rush are a memory in the minds of old men and of old towns. Towns like Kalgoorlie, once the wild, exciting center of the goldfields with 40,000 people. Big buildings and government offices, hotels, gambling houses, theaters, dance halls, all the romance and glamour of the goldfields. A few old-timers fossick among the crumbling walls for specks of gold. A few hang on in the desert, believing that one day the old mines will work again. Gold took its toll in those early days. Hundreds died of thirst or fever, or were lost in the desert. But far-sighted men with faith in the future brought water to the goldfields. They laid a pipeline 350 miles from the watersheds of the coast and made it possible for a community to live, for a permanent town to rise up and grow, for industry to flourish. Gold is the life of Kalgoorlie and its livelihood. Its people discuss the price of gold as farming people talk about crops and the weather. Its young men study the sciences and skills of mining and become experts in all branches of the industry. The old ways are not for them. Things have changed since Kalgoorlie first saw the glitter of gold in its streets. 27,000 people live along the Golden Mile, where a handful of prospectors first pitched their tents. But men like Paddy Hannon are still here, dreamers of old dreams that take them back to the desert to find new golden miles. The yellow siren still sings in the wilderness, and young men are restless. Things have changed on the Golden Mile since Paddy Hannon pitched his tent, but his spirit lives on.